The UN Security Council consultation room on September 23, 2025, was charged with tension as the world's eyes turned to New York. The stakes were high, and the air was thick with anticipation, with diplomats and leaders from every corner of the globe gathering to confront one of the most pressing crises of the year. World leaders arrived, their faces set with determination, ready to address the escalating conflict in Gaza. The corridors buzzed with urgent conversations, and every gesture seemed to carry the weight of global consequences. Yet, amid the gravity and formality, a rare moment of warmth and levity broke through the tension, reminding everyone of the human side of diplomacy. Indonesia's new president, Prabowo Subianto, attending his very first UN General Assembly, quickly became the center of attention. His presence marked a significant moment for Indonesia, signaling a new era of leadership on the world stage. As the meeting commenced, President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from the spotlight, turned to Prabowo with a spontaneous public compliment that caught many by surprise. Trump's praise was genuine and unscripted, cutting through the usual formality of such high-level gatherings. For a brief moment, the room's tension eased and smiles replaced furrowed brows. This unscripted exchange offered a glimpse into the personal dynamics that often shape international relations behind closed doors. It was a reminder that even in the most formal settings, leaders are still people, capable of connection and humor. In a setting where every word is measured and every gesture scrutinized, such moments of camaraderie are both rare and revealing. They can shift the mood, opening doors to more honest dialogue. The warm handshake that followed signaled mutual respect between the leaders of two major nations, hinting at the potential for new partnerships and understanding. This gesture set a more open, collaborative tone for the discussions that followed, and hinted at Indonesia's rising influence under Prabowo's confident leadership. It was a subtle but powerful signal to the world. Sometimes even a brief, human moment, a smile, a compliment, a handshake, can foreshadow a shift in global diplomacy, reminding us that history is often shaped not just by policy, but by people. President Trump's praise was sparked by a moment that would soon become the talk of the international community. It all began with Prabowo's electrifying speech at the UN General Assembly, a gathering where speeches often blend into a sea of diplomatic formality. Prabowo, taking the stage after Presidents Lula and Trump, delivered a passionate, nearly 20-minute address that broke the mold of typical UN speeches. His forceful delivery, punctuated by pounding the podium, commanded the room's attention and sent a clear message that he was not there to be ignored. Unlike the usual diplomatic monotone, Prabowo's style was bold, urgent, and refreshingly direct, cutting through the usual politeness with a sense of real purpose. The table pounding wasn't aggression, but a dramatic call for action and justice, a physical punctuation to his words that underscored the gravity of his message. Delegates who often tune out during lengthy speeches were suddenly riveted, sensing the authenticity and conviction behind his words, and realizing this was no ordinary address. Prabowo's performance signaled Indonesia's intent to be heard, not just seen, a declaration that the nation would play a more assertive role on the world stage. Trump's later comment, "You did a great job, pounding at that table," validated this assertive approach, showing that even seasoned leaders took notice of Prabowo's presence. The moment was a powerful reminder that in global diplomacy, conviction and presence can be as influential as policy itself, and sometimes a bold gesture can echo louder than 1,000 words. Prabowo's speech was a masterclass in making an impact on the world stage, demonstrating that leadership is about inspiring others to listen and act. Sometimes it takes more than words to move the world. It takes passion, courage, and the willingness to break from tradition to truly be heard. Trump's public praise for Prabowo was more than a friendly gesture. It was a calculated move, one that sent ripples through diplomatic circles and signaled a new era in Indonesia's international standing. When a figure as prominent as Trump singles out a leader, the world takes notice, and so do the power brokers behind the scenes. It was a signal to the world that Indonesia's new leadership was being noticed at the highest levels. The message was clear. Indonesia was no longer content to remain in the background. Instead, it was stepping forward, ready to shape global conversations and influence outcomes. Trump, known for his own bold style, recognized a kindred spirit in Prabowo. Both leaders are known for their unapologetic approaches and willingness to challenge the status quo. making their rapport more than just political theater. It was a meeting of minds. The exchange elevated Indonesia's profile, marking it as a key player in global affairs. Suddenly, Indonesia was being discussed not just as a regional power, but as a nation with the potential to influence world events. For Indonesia, this was a diplomatic win, affirming its growing influence, especially on issues important to the Muslim world. The country's voice was being amplified, and its perspectives were gaining traction in international debates. The warmth between the two leaders suggested a strong bilateral relationship, crucial for the Indo-Pacific. This personal connection could open doors for deeper cooperation on security, trade, and regional stability. Prabowo's assertiveness marked a shift from Indonesia's traditionally reserved diplomacy. His willingness to speak out boldly on the world stage signaled a new chapter for the nation's foreign policy. Trump's endorsement encouraged this new proactive stance. It gave Prabowo the confidence to push boundaries and advocate for Indonesia's interests with greater conviction. The timing, after a speech on the Middle East, highlighted Indonesia's unique moral authority on Palestine. As the world watched, Indonesia's commitment to justice and peace in the region became even more apparent. Prabowo's ability to advocate for Palestine while engaging the U.S. showcased sophisticated diplomacy. He managed to balance principle with pragmatism, strengthening Indonesia's ties with both the West and the Muslim world. This balancing act is what sets effective leaders apart on the world stage. Navigating complex alliances and sensitive issues requires both vision and finesse, qualities Prabowo was now demonstrating. The moment underscored Indonesia's emergence as a respected voice in international affairs. With its leadership now in the spotlight, Indonesia was poised to play a more influential role in shaping the future of global diplomacy. Prabowo's speech was a heartfelt call for peace and reconciliation. He condemned violence in Gaza, framing the conflict as a human tragedy demanding urgent resolution. Prabowo invoked the shared heritage of Arabs and Jews, urging unity and coexistence. His message extended beyond Gaza, calling for global cooperation to address crises like Ukraine. Indonesia, he emphasized, stands ready to support peace through action, not just words. Prabowo pledged thousands of Indonesian peacekeepers, turning ideals into concrete commitments. His address positioned Indonesia as a responsible, active force for global stability. Central to Prabowo's address was Indonesia's unwavering support for a two-state solution. He declared, "We must have an independent Palestine, but we must also guarantee the safety and security of Israel." This balanced stance is essential for credible mediation. Prabowo's forceful advocacy came as the two-state solution faced skepticism amid escalating violence. He urged the world not to abandon hope, but to redouble efforts for peace. Praising Western nations recognizing Palestine, Prabowo aligned Indonesia with a growing global consensus. His speech was less about punitive measures, more about rebuilding political will. By championing this vision, he helped refocus international attention on a just, lasting peace. Indonesia's position is now central to the global conversation on the Middle East. Prabowo's speech was anchored by a bold pledge. Indonesia would contribute over 20,000 peacekeepers to UN missions, including Gaza and Ukraine. This far exceeded typical contributions and signaled Indonesia's readiness to take real risks for peace. Already a top peacekeeping nation, Indonesia's offer marked a major escalation of its global role. The move leverages Indonesia's military strength for international diplomacy. The Gaza offer was especially significant, injecting new momentum into stalled discussions on international protection. Prabowo challenged the world to think boldly about peacekeeping solutions. This was not just symbolism, it was a practical proposal to break cycles of violence. By stepping up, Indonesia is enhancing its diplomatic influence and fulfilling its constitutional mandate. Major contributors to global security earn a greater voice in world affairs. Prabowo's pledge is a strategic investment in Indonesia's future as a global power. Prabowo's appearance at the 80th UN General Assembly marked a sharp break from his predecessor's inward focus. For a decade, President Joko Widodo prioritized domestic growth, rarely engaging in global summitry. Prabowo's personal attendance signaled a return to active, high-level diplomacy. His presence announced Indonesia's intent to shape, not just observe, the international agenda. By showing up, Prabowo built vital relationships, including with President Trump. The contrast with the past highlights a new era balancing domestic priorities with assertive global engagement. Prabowo's debut was the start of a new chapter, one defined by presence, confidence, and leadership. The UN events showcased Indonesia's unique role as a global bridge builder. Indonesia straddles multiple worlds, Muslim majority, global south, and a partner to both East and West. Prabowo's warm exchange with Trump illustrated this bridging power. Indonesia connects developed and developing nations and maintains ties with both the US and China. This non-alignment lets Indonesia act as an honest broker in a polarized world. Prabowo's speech championed Palestinian rights while building coalitions with the West. His vision of harmony appealed across divides, embodying true bridge building. Under Prabowo, Indonesia is embracing this role with renewed confidence and influence. The world's recognition at the UN affirmed Indonesia's vital capacity to connect a fractured world. Prabowo's UN debut signals a new era for Indonesian diplomacy, confident, assertive, and ambitious. Indonesia is stepping out of the background, seeking to match its size with global influence. This assertiveness is about principled engagement, not confrontation. Prabowo's style, demanding to be heard, earned respect from world leaders. Indonesia's bridge building is now central to its foreign policy. By balancing strong principles with open engagement, Indonesia is carving out a unique space in global politics. Prabowo's performance heralds a future where Indonesia's voice shapes world affairs. A new, more assertive Indonesia has arrived, ready to lead on the global stage.